Abernathy with you again to give you a quarterly update on the economy on behalf of the Missouri Chamber of Commerce. Missouri has continued to recover from the pandemic pretty well. Last quarter, a little bit of a downturn as the economy is starting to cool due to interest rate rises, but we're still within about 30,000 jobs of where we were when all the pandemic started in the state. As you can see on the chart here, there's only 14 states that have fully recovered so far. The U.S. still has not fully recovered, still about 0.5% down. So Missouri is in the upper half of recovery states as we go forward. The last year, from May of 2021 to May of 22, the recovery is broad-based. Every state in the country has added jobs during that period of time. Some of the percentages are a little bit higher because they lost more jobs. Those tend to be in states with heavy tourism economies or leisure and hospitality economies, but Missouri is solidly in the middle of that recovery. Across the neighboring states, if you look at February of 2020 to May of 2022, you can see that Missouri is still down that 1%. Only Arkansas and Tennessee are above the line, and places like Kansas are still down 2.5%, Illinois too, almost 2.5%. So the recovery has been good. If you look at the last 12 months, 2.5% job growth in Missouri, not yet up to Tennessee's growth rate, and Illinois has had a big rebound, but they lost a lot of jobs initially. When we look individually at how the different components of the state economy are doing, overall it's still construction that is the real jump out figure for you from February of 2020 to today. The growth rate has been tremendous nationally, only about 0.5%. Growth rate in Missouri is over 8%, so that's something to keep our eye on. That's a good predictor of good times to come. When we look at the last 12 months, a couple things hop out. One is that we're still down in financial services in Missouri, and that's something to watch, but we're up in professional and technical services, 6.7%, which is even higher than the national gain, and that's been pretty strong. All the metros in the state are in recovery mode now. You can see it's broad-based. Jeff City a little bit behind, and Cape Girardeau, but everybody else making up ground pretty quickly over the last 12 months. Nationally, when we think about the economy these days, inflation is the first thing on everybody's mind. It's true all over the world. The U.S. is sort of in the middle of the pack on inflationary factors around the world, so we're going to keep our eye on inflation as we go forward. It's an interesting time for inflation because it's not even. About 6% overall inflation if you take food and energy out. As the slide shows you, the real jump has been in fuel prices, motor fuel, airline fares based on jet fuel, natural gas service. The energy sector has really impacted our overall inflation, and the next thing to watch is the food sector, mostly because of what's going on in Ukraine. There are places that parts of our economy that haven't seen much inflation. Unlike many years ago when healthcare was rising rapidly, healthcare services have been really modest. So it's uneven. It's certainly likely that inflation is going to come down pretty quickly over the next year as the Fed continues to raise interest rates. Consumer spending is on its way down now too. Interest rates are part of that, but also the stimulus money that many consumers were spending has about run out. You can see down here at the bottom, that's real disposable income has been in negative territory now for about 8 months, and incomes have been coming down. Overall, retail sales continue to drop, and they should drop even more in the coming months. And personal savings rates are now lower than they were before the pandemic hit. So all of that combined should make it pretty clear that the economy is going to cool off, and that's really what the Fed's been trying to do. Inventory levels have started to rise, and when that happens, you know that the retail sales numbers are coming down. So overall, as those inventories start to rise, you're going to see production slow down a little bit, and overall the economy is going to slow. Finally, the employment market is the last piece that is still red hot. The interest rates have cooled down housing. Certainly, as I said, retail sales are down. but overall labor market pools have really stayed strong. As we're recording this, tomorrow is another day of the numbers release, but we have still been adding jobs quickly in America, and there are still 1.9 jobs for every person who is looking for work. So until that number comes down, you're still going to have this mixed message of people worried about the economy because of inflation, but happy with the job market that's out there. What I think you can see and expect for the rest of the summer and into the fall, retail sales will continue to cool down. The housing market is going to reset, but it's going to continue to cool because the average prices went up and the interest rates went up. Inflation's here for a while. It's not going away anytime soon, but should start to come down some late summer and early fall. The geopolitics around the world really still do play a big part in this, so we all have to keep our eyes on shutdowns in China due to COVID, and also what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. And that's probably going to impact food more than anything else. Reshoring looks like it's real. We're seeing a lot of companies starting to bring jobs back. Manufacturers are still having trouble finding labor, so watching that balance will be important. And it's really time to start watching those labor markets quickly. And we're going to see what happens with interest rates. If labor markets continue to be strong, then the economy is going to cool on one side and stay hot on the other, and you're going to see a lot of tinkering going on. Overall, Missouri is making a strong comeback, but there's a lot of things to watch, and the economy is on everyone's mind. So I hope to be back with you next quarter, and good luck over a hot summer in Missouri.